welcome to the Big Apple School podcast, the weekly English show where we speak about everything under the sun. The major goal of this show is to help you improve your English by listening and, of course, learn something new. My name's Katya, I'm your host, and today with me
is Ken from Manila, Philippines.
And
Alёna from Russia.
Let's get started. Well, before we actually move to our topic of today's podcast, Alёna, you're here for the first time.
Right.
Can you tell us something about yourself?
Well, like my hobby, something like.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Well,
what are you doing here?
First of all, I'm an English teacher. Yeah, and that's probably something. Yeah, just I really like, something I really adore doing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my hobby as well, because it's both my job and my hobby, right?
Like the phrase go, like find a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And then I'm just curious, like how long have you been teaching?
I guess for about like 5 years something. I mean, I started when I was at still at university. So
Wow.
Okay, cool. So welcome.
Thank you.
Well, guys, today we're going to talk about entertainment and relaxing. So tell me, how do you relax in general? What kinds of entertainment do you prefer?
You know what? If you had asked this question before when I was much younger, although I still consider myself, young, maybe young at heart, not that old, but it was kind of boring, I guess, because, I would turn on my computer and then play solitaire. It's
I thought you were going to say
like
computer games, the shooters and whatnot.
No.
Okay.
I mean, not into online games, but more into, old-ish kind of stuff, playing solitaire while listening to music. And, sometimes I don't just play. I also, while listening, I also try to sing along, and I try to sing my heart out, because that's my way to relax. It's a way to de-stress at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But if we talk about nowadays, I would say that a lot of my time is maybe wasted somehow on watching YouTube videos. And the videos that I watch are about animals, because I love animals. I'm a huge animal lover.
Oh, you're adorable.
What else? Comedy. This might surprise others, but I love pranks. For some reason, I don't know, it's really interesting for me. And maybe documentaries, a lot of documentaries, anything about life, maybe, countries that I've never been to. What else? Anything about Russia.
Aww.
It's funny because I consider myself as a patriot. Although, of course, obviously, I'm from the Philippines, but anything to do with Russia, it can be politics, it can be about sports, or lifestyle, anything to do with Russia. That will definitely interest me.
Well, we'll get a little bit into that, in detail a little bit later. But Alёna, what about you?
Well, I guess I'm just like Ken. I mean, I really like, something I like doing. Well, I entertain myself watching, YouTube videos. They are usually, that's something everybody does, I guess, right? So, usually they are kind of, about politics, basically, right? Also psychology, so documentaries, that's something I really like, so that's it.
I have a question for Alёna. Don't you feel guilty somehow that, because sometimes I feel like I'm wasting my time, especially if, watching videos on YouTube?
Really depends upon what I'm watching at that very moment. Because, sometimes, right, I feel like I'm just wasting my time watching some videos. But basically, I like lectures, really. I do like them. Yeah, if they are like psychology lectures or, I don't know, just some documentaries, probably, to broaden your mind. Why not? And also, I just follow news, and that's just, I have to watch lots of YouTube to, to be into the topic somehow.
Ken, come on. So we as teachers have a perfect excuse to be watching all those endless YouTube videos. We are teachers. We're just looking for the material, for our students. Every single time when somebody asks me, why are you watching this TV show for 5th time or 6th time?
Right.
I'm like, I'm just looking for the constructions, for the students. solely for the purpose of, my students learning. Exactly. So, guys, both of you like documentaries. So what about cinema in general? Like, do you like going to movies? Do you prefer watching things online? Like, what's the situation
You know what? Some listeners might consider me a loser because I don't watch a lot of films. I think the last time I was in the cinema, it was like 3 years ago. Wait, 3 years ago or 4 years ago? And that was in Kazakhstan. It wasn't even in the Philippines when I went back there. So
finally, you have no idea how happy I am to meet someone like that.
Really?
I don't like going to the cinema. I don't do that. I don't watch films. And usually people are so shocked when they find this out. They're like, what? Really?
But what about during conversations? Because sometimes they try to, reference a particular movie and then they tell you this and that, and then you just can't relate. And, for example, in my case, it's just, that's interesting.
I've heard of that. Yeah. I just nod and smile. Like, yep, heard about that. Yeah, what's the name again? Alёna, what about you?
Well, I do like movies, right? But I don't really enjoy going to the cinema. Right. But I'm a movie lover, but what I like is I like old movies, really. I not watch a lot of, brand new stuff. Yeah, so that's why what I like black and white movies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's something that I also like. But I don't know if you, for example, in my case, I like Casablanca, Gone with the Wind.
Oh, my
classics.
favorite. Absolutely right. Yeah. Clark Gable, just Vivian Leigh. I just adore them.
I nod and smile for those who cannot see me. Nod and
for
smile.
those who can't relate.
So it seems that, none of us actually like going to the cinema. Wow.
I do occasionally, like with my friends when they want to see something, but on my own, no, never.
Well, exactly the same as my situation. I only go there if I'm invited, but on my own, no.
Same. I would never go to the cinema like on my own. Not my thing. Especially now, like when I'm thinking about going to the cinema, but then I see the prices, which is like, well, in Boston area, it's like $14. I'm like, nah, thanks.
Do you enjoy the atmosphere though? Because to be honest with you, even though I don't go very often to the cinema, but I enjoy it because it's, a totally different atmosphere.
All right. Well, I like the atmosphere. Like I like the popcorn and, the like people around, especially if it's
and better
something
sound
like,
quality.
That is true. But I have realized that I just cannot, keep my attention on one thing for that long. I get easily distracted and I keep peeking at my watch, like, okay, how long is it? I've recently talked to a friend of mine and we discussed that nowadays we people cannot actually devote ourselves to something long, like long movies, even long YouTube videos.
Right.
Yeah.
I try to press forward, and then, okay, next, what else?
Like, when was the last time that you watched a YouTube video that was, let's say, half an hour? There should be like a sound effect of crickets.
Okay. But then again, it will depend on what kind of video, that I'm watching. If it's a historical documentary, yes, I can sit through it and I can go on and on until the entire documentary is done. And then sometimes it can come in a series. Because I love history a lot. World history in particular, not so much about Philippine history. I know my, fellow Filipinos who might listen to this will, they might hate me for this, but yeah.
So speaking of cinema, have you heard about this thing as theater HD that is getting popular in Russia at least? I've seen this huge posters on some of the cinemas. So the idea is that they show the recordings of plays in British theaters, like the Globe Theatre, Royal Majesty Theatre, whatever. So have you ever heard about that?
No. What's the point? I mean,
well, the thing is that not many of us can afford going to, let's say, London and watching a play there in a theater. So they do the recording so that people have an opportunity to see that in different countries.
That's brilliant, but I haven't tried it yet. And this is the first time I've heard of it.
Oh, really? Like,
I've told you, I'm not into cinemas.
but that's kind of not cinema. This is theater.
Oh, well, theater. Oh my God. Yeah.
Because I remember last year they were showing Hamlet with Benedict Cumberbatch, and they were showing like The 12th Night by Shakespeare and whatnot. So which brings the question, what's your attitude to theater?
I am a theater goer, right? When I used to live in Barnaul, and I just used to go to theater almost like every month. I'd say,
Wow.
right? Yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. But shame on me, but I've been living in Novosibirsk like for 3 years. But I guess I've been here like twice. And that's it, because I work a lot, so that's it.
Again, for those who cannot see
She's
us,
a workaholic.
I'm looking judgingly at Alёna right now. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, if we talk about theaters, I actually enjoy it a lot. But, the irony is I don't go there often. It's a similar situation with the cinema because I only go there if I'm invited. And believe it or not, I've only been to a theater once here in Novosibirsk. And
Opera
the funny
and ballet?
thing is...
Opera and ballet theater?
Exactly, of course. That should be the first place to go to. And the funny thing is we watched Cipollino.
Oh my goodness.
There were a lot of kids that day. And, it was
I bet.
a bit embarrassing because what are these two, adult guys doing here? Because mainly it's, for children. But then again, I was, so he invited me and at the time that was the only one that was on. So I thought to myself, why not? And this will be my first time to see the opera and ballet theater. So I went there and I really liked it a lot.
So was it ballet?
It was.
was.
Yeah.
Actually, that wasn't like written for children. I mean, Cipollino.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of adult thing.
Well,
Oh,
if you look
okay.
into
Well.
it, like you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, is it really?
I mean, lots of things to think over.
Yeah. What's your attitude to ballet?
Ballet, no, I don't like
Not
it.
your thing. Okay. I have a story actually about ballet because I love it. I mean, not to the point that I know like the names of ballerinas and whatnot, but I love watching it. And I remember last year in September, I bought the tickets to the Nutcracker in Boston Opera House. I had been waiting for it for like several months because the tickets were for the 1st of December, I think. So on the 1st of December, I all dressed up, go to the theater, I enter it. The moment I enter the building, I realize that I have forgotten the ticket at home.
Oh my God.
I know. I went to the ticket office and I said, look, I forgot my ticket at home, but I have the email confirmation. I have the number of the row, but I just don't have the number of the seat. They said, we're sorry, we can't help you since you bought it on some other website. I called the support, of the website, told them my details, and they said, we're sorry, since we mailed the ticket to you via post, we cannot see the seat number. I was begging people at the ticket office, look, I can stand, I can sit on the floor, just please let me do that. They're like, we are sorry, we have nothing that we can do. I just left the theater. I was crying my eyes out for 15 minutes.
I would have cried too.
I then later made a post about it on Instagram, and my students, for those who do not know, I teach Russian at an American university. So my students saw the post, and at the end of the semester, they got a little gift for me, and that was the ticket to the Nutcracker. Again, I was crying. I was like, oh my God,
nice
guys.
of them. So kind of them.
So cute. But yeah, after that, I am paranoid when it comes to tickets. I'm like, do I have my ticket? Am I sure that I have my ticket? Is it really my ticket?
Well, that's a very good lesson. But, if I had been in your situation, I would have been pissed at myself.
I was.
the
Trust
ticket.
me. How could one be so dumb to forget the ticket? Well, I actually wanted to ask, what do you think are the most, let's say, popular and widespread types of entertainment in our countries, in your countries? So, Ken, what would you say is a common thing to do in the Philippines?
You know what? In our last podcast, I mentioned it a bit. It's something to do with singing, going to karaoke. It's funny because most Filipinos, to be honest with you, are really good at singing. So I think I'm not a Filipino then. I mean, although I love singing, of course, and I do enjoy sometimes going to, karaoke. But I want a private room because I don't want other people to suffer from hearing my horrible voice. And that's why I don't like it to be open air. I had an experience here in Novosibirsk. We went to Cacao Lounge, and I didn't know that, it was like public and there were, many different people. And I thought, oh my God, I cannot sing here. I don't want them to suffer. I don't want their ears to, bleed. But then again, my friend, he encouraged me. So I told him, okay, I need, let me see, how many more bottles of beer before I start singing? And then I waited for the time. It was about, I guess, 2 a.m., if I remember it correctly. And I thought, okay, by this time, all the people here are drunk, so they won't pay attention to my voice, so I can start singing. And I did. And in fact, I sang Adele's Rolling in the Deep. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, I know that you sometimes sing during your classes.
I do, because students have no choice but to listen to me.
I love this. So karaoke, what else would you say is like a common thing or a popular thing in the Philippines?
If we talk about, things to entertain them, if they don't go out, if they just stay at home, Filipinos are so crazy about telenovelas. These are like soap opera. They originally came from some Latin countries, I guess Mexico, but it found its way in the Philippines in the early 90s, and we developed our own genre of telenovela. And, Filipino families, they gather in the living room, they watch together after dinner, and we have a lot of, these telenovelas.
Oh my goodness.
I don't understand why Filipinos are, well, it's funny that I'm saying this because I used to be so, tuned into telenovelas. I was a victim of that because I was just a child, and my grandmother, my cousins, my aunts, they were always looking forward to it. So I sat with them and I was also into the story. But, now that I'm much older, I'm not into that kind of thing. But to this day, I must say that a lot of Filipinos, families, this is one of the things that unites them.
Oh my, I wonder how that, the telenovelas got there, because this is actually I think it's like a Mexican thing or
exactly
Latin American thing.
So it started with the Mexican telenovelas, and they were dubbed into Tagalog, which is the other language in the Philippines, and then from there we developed our own.
Amazing.
And now it's extremely popular in the Philippines.
Oh my, this is the first time that I've ever heard about this. Amazing.
Really.
Great. Alёna, what would you say about Russia? Well, you come from a smaller town, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed any difference in the pastime?
Well, actually, it's not as small as everybody thinks. Yeah, but it's the center of the region. So, well, of course, it's not as big as Novosibirsk, but basically just the same. Yeah, karaoke, yeah, but not for me. But the majority of people do like them. I mean, going there, right? Cinemas, and there are lots of shopping centers, shopping malls there, and kind of. They just go shopping a lot. I'd say Barnaul is a city of shopping centers.
Wow.
Right.
There are that many?
Yeah, a lot actually.
Interesting. So we would say that, if we sum it up, so the most popular ways to spend the time are shopping,
cinema, museums. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Do you have a lot?
There are plenty of them, right?
Okay.
Well, speaking of museums, the funny thing is we have museums, but it's mostly for students. It's the students who mostly go there because on our own, for example, with families, that would be the last thing that we would think about.
So it's mostly for the sake of education.
Yeah. And, to be honest with you, when I was in the Philippines, I wasn't, I never visited a museum with my friends. It was more of a school thing, as you've said, for educational purposes. But on our own, no.
For fun?
But don't get me wrong, I do like museums. Yeah, I do like them.
Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit more about museums. I think we can do that now.
Okay.
Is there anything else that like people in Barnaul do a lot?
I think you can answer your question. I mean, like that's the same country, still the same country, right?
All right. All right.
But talking about museums, right? Well, I can just, I do like them. But also one more thing, if you go to a museum, so any museum, I think that's a really great, like good idea to have a guide with you, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's no use if you just go and like look at all that stuff with just on your own.
Okay. I've been thinking about like, how would I summarize like the ways of entertainment in Boston area? Like, I'm not sure about like Midwest or the West Coast. Like, I can't say anything about those places. But let's say in Boston area, it's surprisingly not karaoke. For some reason, like when my friends and I wanted to go, we couldn't find any. Then I think it's mostly going to, I don't know, pubs, restaurants, sport clubs, like, like sport restaurants with huge TV sets so everybody can follow the game, whatever that is, be that football game. Like, they're crazy. Americans are crazy about sport. And then the museums too. There are so many of them in Boston area, at least. They're amazing. God, I love them. Expensive, yes, which is super annoying because I'm not always ready to pay $25 for the ticket.
Wow.
I know, right?
25.
This should be illegal. But still. So if we talk about museums, there's one thing that always annoyed me about Novosibirsk. This is the third biggest city in the country. We never get any genuine works. Copies, replicas, yes, which is lovely. Local artists, yes, amazing. But nothing is ever brought here.
Really?
I cannot remember a single time when anything was.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I've
you're
never
talking
been.
about like art galleries, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about like paintings.
I mean, I've been planning on going to a museum for a while. I mean, I have the one I really want to visit. It's called Funeral Culture Museum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it here?
Yeah. It's just,
okay.
as far as I know, it's just like the only one we have in Russia. Yeah.
It might be. It might be
Funeral
so.
Culture Museum, right? And the point is, I'm not sure, but I guess it's somewhere like in the suburbs or what.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the outskirts of the city. Yeah, so you need to take your time to get there.
Right. So that's the problem. But yeah, I just really want to go there.
I'm so sorry to ask this, because you said funeral museum. Are there corpses there?
No, not corpses. No, but basically some, I don't know, can I call it equipment or something, or like some clothes or all this stuff.
And I think they show like the story, like the history of it, how it developed from like earlier times, what the coffins looked like and whatnot. I know
Coffins, right? Also,
I know that this museum like is always every year this is a participant of museum night. So yeah, this year unfortunately it was canceled throughout the world. But yeah, have you ever been to a museum night before? By the way,
here, Novosibirsk.
Anywhere in the world?
No, not me.
Well, don't ask me.
You said you love museums.
Yeah, I do, but then again, it's whenever people invite me. But on my own, I don't go there.
All right. So a note to any of our listeners who live in Novosibirsk, please invite Ken to places.
Yeah, please do. But okay, just to be clear, so no dead people in the so-called funeral museum, yeah?
Oh, all right. Noted. Not to that place.
Just to be clear.
Okay. All right. Well, what about, we talked about theater, like plays, ballet, museums. What about concerts and different performances?
Well, I really love live concerts. Okay, I'm trying to remember the last time I have been to a concert. But it was in the Philippines though. I tried once. No, I had in Kazakhstan, but that was, well, still many years ago. What I like about going to concerts is that everybody's happy. The mood, the music is real.
Right.
And
it's like everybody's on the same wave.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if, the ones performing on stage are your idols or the ones that you really look up to. So it makes you, the level of happiness is just beyond.
Aww. I love the way it sounds. I don't know, what about you?
No, I'm not much of concert goer. No, not like that. If I want to enjoy some music, I'd rather do that on my own somewhere.
But is there any kind of a concert or a performance maybe that you dream of visiting?
Paul McCartney, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Wow,
If I had a chance, right, I'd definitely go.
Well, my students know this. I would want to go to a Christina Aguilera concert.
I knew you would say that. I knew that.
Christina Aguilera is my diva. And I almost had a chance, in fact, last year when she came here to Russia. But
she did?
She performed in St. Petersburg and Moscow. But then again, they were not in line with my holiday because, when I went to, when was that? When I went to St. Petersburg, the concert was done. But anyway, I'm still alive, so I'm still going to have a chance.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
What about you, though?
Okay, so I am not, I think just as Alёna, I'm not much of a concert goer just because I don't know bands. I don't know musicians. I don't listen to music that much. I was supposed to go to the Antwoord concert this April in Boston, but well, we all know what happened.
Oh, well, of course.
So yeah, and I mean, I like performances sometimes. So something like, I like classical music concerts that I really do love. And I remember last March or last April, that was my department, the Department of Russian Language at Wellesley College. They took students and the faculty, myself included, to a concert of Rachmaninoff's concert. Well, it was Concerto No. 3 with orchestra. That was the first time in my entire life when I was crying during the concert, just because it was so beautiful. I had goosebumps.
It moved you.
Is that really so impressive?
It was. And the musician, I do not remember his name, but he's a genius. He's been performing throughout, around the world since he was 18. And I don't know if you know that, but Rachmaninoff's concerts, the music is incredibly hard to play just because his fingers were so long. He was able to cover 12 keys with one hand.
Wow.
And it's not there aren't that many musicians who can do that. So that was the time which I really liked, and I realized that I would enjoy going, to classic music concerts from now on. And there was one more performance that I enjoyed. We all know how popular Harry Potter is, right? There are so many fans. And starting with 2 years ago, one of the little theaters in Rhode Island, they started doing this performance. They would show a movie, one of the movies, on a big screen, but with a live orchestra, symphonic orchestra.
That's
that was
even more impressive. Wow.
Of course, it sometimes costs an arm and a leg, but it's totally worth it. Yeah.
That would be cool to see and experience, because I don't think I've ever been to such, an event or a concert.
As far as I know, it's getting popular in the world, because recently, not recently, 6 months ago, I saw the same thing happening in London, but it was Star Wars. And they have been thinking about the same thing in Novosibirsk with Star Wars, but I think they never got a chance to. So who knows? I mean, I would totally go to an event like that.
I would give it a try.
I like it how I am I would totally go. And it's I would probably. I'm not sure, but maybe.
Because I'm not sure yet how I'm going to react.
Fair enough.
It must be much more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's compare. So a movie ticket is on average $14. let's say the ticket to the Harry Potter and the Symphonic Orchestra was $80 for like row 45, I think. And it was up to like 220 for the first row. So yeah. But again, this is Symphonic Orchestra. So
Well,
there are a lot of people in it, like 30. So yeah, it's worth it. Anyway. So Alёna, you mentioned that people in Barnaul love shopping. What about you guys? Do you love shopping?
Shopping.
Is it a way to relax for you?
When I do, I have money, right? I mean,
Of course, you need cash first.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoy shopping for clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I usually, I guess I go shopping for clothes for once in 2 months, okay, or something like that. I buy something nice. And yeah, I enjoy trying it on. So,
and do you go with something specific in your mind, or do you just go there, to roam around?
Yeah, I usually have something in my mind, but it turns out that I buy I buy more usually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And would you consider yourself an impulsive shopper?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I just know some people recommend making a list before you go somewhere, right? Before you go shopping. And I actually really honest. I'm honest with you. Sorry. Yeah, I do that. But I just throw that away, as soon as I enter, come on.
Oh, you mean the shopping list?
Yeah, the shopping list.
I mean, come on, we all are impulsive
It doesn't work.
buyers.
It doesn't work with me.
Oh, well.
From time to time.
Yeah. But I wonder, though, how much time does it take you to go shopping? Well, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, no, I could easily spend a day on that, I guess.
A day.
Yeah.
A day. Wow.
Especially if I want.
Let that sink in.
I mean, usually the weekends. Yeah, I go at the weekends, and right, especially if I have something specific in my mind. Yeah, I have to find that. So it takes a lot.
Oh yeah, I do
a
understand.
lot of time.
I do understand the pain.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can never take that much time because I'm very impatient. And sometimes I get annoyed when I go to a shop and then try to look for the items that I'm looking for. And if I don't find them, I need to go to another shop and then another shop. I hate it. I hate the process of going to, the dressing room and trying clothes out. I don't know. If I go to a shopping center, to any clothes shop, I want to go to a place where everything's there so that I won't have to spend a lot of time.
What about online shopping then?
Online shopping, what I hate about that is the waiting time because it doesn't arrive immediately. I mean, it's not like when you go to an actual shop and you can get the item immediately, but sometimes it takes weeks or even more than, or longer. So no, I'm not into online shopping either.
You know how they say online shopping can help you save time? I strongly disagree with that. Every time that I try to find something online, I spend even more time because I'm reading every characteristic, every description, what kind of a fabric that is. What about the size chart? It's way easier to just go to a shopping mall and okay, I don't like the quality of the fabric. Or that looks nice. Let me try that on. So yeah.
And then what about you? Speaking of shopping.
I love shopping. And I love two kinds of shopping. The first one is book shopping.
Yeah.
I can spend hours in a bookstore.
Right.
Okay. I'll comment later.
Me too, yeah.
Go ahead.
And then the second one is clothes shopping, but not just in any store, but I love thrift stores. Because this feeling of a hunt. Will you find something valuable? Will you find something cool or not? Is it my day today?
So there's a thrill there.
Yes. And God, sometimes I found real gems in a thrift, in a thrift store where I go. I love that. I love the atmosphere.
Are you looking for a bargain or something?
Depends on a store, I guess. But more often than not, it's not about that being a bargain, but it's more about that being something unique. Because you can find vintage clothes that you can find something still with a price tag on it. So yeah, it's more about something unusual.
Do you like flea markets then?
I do. And again, like
You're
it
a
also
huge fan, yeah?
Well, I haven't been to many because for some reason they don't happen that often, like in places where I go, where I live. But yeah, I think I'm gonna love that. Like I've been to a flea market, I think twice, and it was like, you know, the hunt of, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? Vintage earrings? Don't mind if I do.
You know, I guess the only kinds of shopping that I do enjoy are food shopping, because I love eating, of course. I can spend a long time in the supermarket looking for the, you know, some, well, junk food sometimes.
Do you read the ingredients?
Definitely.
Because that's what I do. Yeah.
Depends on how much time I have. But yeah.
In my case, in most cases, I do, because I'm a bit health conscious, although it's not very obvious.
Why? It's not very obvious.
Well, you know.
You're too harsh on yourself. But yeah, food shopping, right? I love it, especially when you go to a place, you know, which has a lot of like, well, not maybe unique, but things imported from other countries. And you're like, ooh, what's that? Some Belgian chocolate I've never heard of.
Trying out new things.
Ken, you were going to ask something, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no. There's another thing that I'd like to say. If it's about gadgets, yeah, I can spend a long time in the shop, like going around asking the shop assistant. So what are the specifications of this, for example, tablet? And then can you tell me this and that? Yeah, I wouldn't mind spending a lot of time there, but not in a clothes shop.
So are you much of a tech nerd?
I don't know. Not exactly. I just like gadgets. I don't know.
I'm a little bit jealous right now.
Why?
Well, because like last May when my phone died and I had to, you know, buy a new one, and I had to find a shopping mall, which I knew existed somewhere in the Boston area, but I didn't have Google Map. I didn't have anything. I would go to the first store that I could find and ask like, hi, do you have an unlocked phone? They would be like, no. I would go to another store that I would find on my way. Like, hi, do you have an unlocked phone? They would say like, oh, it's on a plan for the next 2 months. But I was leaving for Russia in like 5 weeks. I didn't have this opportunity. So, and basically the way I buy things is, hi, I need a phone which is, let's say, unlocked and is less than $200. Show me all your options. And then they do. And I'm like, okay, now.
The red one.
Yeah, that's me. That is me. I'm like, okay, which one, you know, has more memory if it's like the same money? They're like, that one. I'm like, perfect, I'll take it. That's how I bought my laptop, my camera, and my phone. Yeah. So.
I'm just curious though. What do you think of some, you know, shop assistants who try to ask you? I mean, not just ask, but try to offer you many different things, and sometimes they follow you around as you walk in the shop. How do you feel about that?
Oh God. I mean, if there are any sales assistants who do that listening, I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate being followed. Like, if I need help, I'm going to ask you.
Exactly.
What about you guys? So can you feel the same way, Alёna? What about you?
Yeah, just the same way. I guess, well, when I'm looking for something, you know, just browsing like in like the aisles or something, yeah, I get a little bit, I feel uncomfortable. Yeah, so
what do you say? Okay, so what do you say though?
Well, if they ask me, I usually say thank you, because, well, I'm not the person who, you know, just who is afraid to ask for help. It's easier for me to ask somebody if I'm lost than just to take my phone and find. Yeah, really. But if I do not need any help, I'm just I start getting furious, to be honest, right? First uncomfortable and furious.
You know, the funny thing here in Russia is that sometimes they approach me and they keep talking and blah, 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 and they're like, lady, I don't even understand a word that's coming out of your mouth. Like, this is all a waste of your time. So if you could just leave me alone, and then if I need something, then I'm going to ask for your help.
Yeah.
And they do it, you know, with such enthusiasm. Like, oh my God, like, I don't want to waste your time because really I don't understand.
You should have like, some kind of like piece of paper which says like, I don't understand Russian. Leave me alone.
Exactly.
Please. And a smiley face so that you don't sound rude.
Well, I could do that.
So that was about shopping. Now, what about restaurants and bars? Because this seems to be the most popular way to spend your free time in the US. Well, again, Boston area. What about here? What do you think? Well, and Manila.
Well, that's what I love doing with my friends because instead of inviting them over to my flat, which will entail a lot of preparation and
cleaning.
Yeah, exactly. So I would rather just meet with them in a restaurant or maybe in a bar because, again, the atmosphere is also, important. And the other thing is I don't have to cook. Well, in the first place, I don't cook at all. But then again, there will be a variety of choices when it comes to food. What else? And if either of us wants to drink, then of course it'll be available. Unlike if, I invite them over to my flat, then I still have to go out and then ask them, what would you like me to buy for you?
Right, and you have to keep like everyone's wish and like dietary restrictions on mind. Yeah,
exactly.
that's too much energy. Yeah. So, what about you? Do you like going out too?
I don't like nightclubs because usually it's too noisy there. Right? But I do like bars. Yeah. Actually,
high five.
I went out with my friends yesterday. Really. So,
especially bars with a live band with some live music.
Yeah, that's like
that.
a nice addition to the atmosphere. Have you ever done pub crawling?
No, never.
Have I done it? I think once when I was in Bangkok and I almost died. I mean, figuratively, I almost died.
I mean, it's pub crawling,
Yeah, well.
Thanks for, clearing this out. So, but you haven't. Why not?
Because, I guess if you do that, you have to. Do you have to drink in every bar you visit?
I mean, that's usually the idea, but I think you can. You have to. Okay.
I do like bars, but I never get legless or something, so that's why I don't think it's a good idea. We just find some nice place to to have fun, and that's it.
Fair enough.
What about you?
I don't think I've ever done that just because I'm too lazy. That would mean that I have to actually physically walk somewhere. No. But what I did once was I was on a date and, instead of pub crawling, I did the sweet places crawling. So we started at a waffle place, then went to like some place which I knew had a good baklava, then moved to a Spanish place to have some churros. So and it was like that for about 5 hours in 6 different places.
Wow.
I know.
And what was the experience like?
Oh God, that was so great. I have a sweet tooth, so I'm ready to eat sweets like all day long. But after that, I think I had some sugar overload, so I couldn't eat anything sweet for like a week.
Oh
after.
My goodness.
No regrets. None. Absolutely. But yeah. So both of you guys have been living here for some time, but you're not local. What about places that you like here? Have you been to any restaurant, cafe, or bar that you really liked that you would recommend other people to visit?
Well, interesting. I just I can't even recall the names of the places that I've been to because, okay. The first thing that came to my mind is Respublica, which, others would look down on it because it's like for university students, right?
Yeah, it's when you broke.
Yeah,
but you still want to go to
basically
places.
when you're broke. But I don't know, this for some reason, that's the only thing that I remember. But I have been to other places though, and they were far better than Respublica. But I don't know, for some reason, it's the only thing that I remember.
Interesting. Alёna, what about you?
Well, I'm kind of coffeeholic, right? I really like coffee.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can do you see what's happening here?
Yeah.
We have a lot of things in common. I like that.
I even used to work as a barista for half a year, right? I just I adore coffee. I cannot live without that. Yeah. And I had an idea well, I just wanted to learn how to make it properly. Yeah. So that's why I got the job. Yeah. And that was fun. I really liked that. I enjoyed that. Yeah. And as for cafes or restaurants, well, I do like coffee bars. So I visit them really, really often. So I do have a coffee machine at home, but I like cappuccino, and that's my favorite coffee drink. I always I order every time I go to a coffee shop. So one of my favorite is, shall I give you the name?
I mean, why not?
Yeah. I really like Dudnik. Yeah, really. They make well, to my taste, they make great coffee, really.
Well, I don't want to sound snobbish, but it was nice knowing you. Have a good life. Bye. Sorry.
Bye.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit, not a little bit, okay, fine. But I'm a coffee snob, which means I really know a thing or two about coffee. So if you want to try the best coffee in the city, 2 places that I can advise. The first one is Peachy. Also have amazing Belgian waffles. Even a friend of mine who's from Belgium said that those are legit. The second place is Blackwood, which is, they have, I think, 3 locations in the city, also serve really good coffee. So, yeah.
Highly recommended. They should pay you for this. This is free advertising.
Right?
And the fact that we have a lot of listeners, so.
Yeah, so if anyone is working there and is listening to this,
they should give you at least a free cup of coffee or at least, something.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. But, I actually like how Novosibirsk has a lot of cool places to eat at. Let's say we have several wine bars where you can eat seafood and try wines that are so great that you cannot find in a local supermarket. We have a Mexican place that serves incredible tacos. We have a place that specializes on meat and beer. God, I love the city for that.
Wow.
I feel like that's because in the winter, there's not much else to do,
well.
to go out. But yeah. Okay, last question for you guys. Is there anything that you think this city lacks in terms of entertainment?
Yeah, I'm not sure I know the term for it, actually. Well, just a nice place, you can go and meet meet your friends, have fun, drink tea,
I think
that we call it
anti-café?
Yeah.
So some kind of a space just to hang out at.
We do have a couple of them, but not many. I think it's a good idea to.
Yeah, especially when you can't really invite people over to your place for some reasons. Yeah, that would be a good thing to have.
I don't want to sound boring, but I really love going to parks a lot. Don't get me wrong, I love Novosibirsk, and I've, featured this city a lot on my Facebook account, uploading many different photos. But one thing that I find, how will I put it in a nice way?
A tiny bit disappointing?
A tad bit. The parks, I don't know, they're not so impressive. It's not jaw-dropping. It's not okay, don't get me wrong. For example, in Almaty, in Kazakhstan, they really have huge parks and they're really beautiful. It's hard to explain. But for example, the first time I came to the Central Park, I had high expectations because I thought this is the Central Park. This is probably the main park in Novosibirsk. And then when I entered, okay, so you have this and that, and then that's it.
Where's the Central Park? Am I at the right place?
I was waiting for something like a spectacle, something that would, attention grabbing. But I thought, okay, I guess I can just sit down here. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the city lacks cool green spaces. Yeah. I agree. All right. Thank you, guys. So that was the Big Apple School podcast, and today we discussed entertainment. We talked a little bit about cinemas, museums, galleries, how much we are, concert goers or rather non-goers. We talked about restaurants and bars, and we talked about what's popular in Novosibirsk, Barnaul, Manila, and Boston. So thank you for listening. And remember, if you struggle to understand our conversation, you're always welcome to our website, which is bigappleschool.com/podcast, where you can find full scripts of each episode. You can read it while listening. Isn't it cool? Also, if you want to get more content which will help you learn English, you can follow us on social media such as Instagram, VK, YouTube, Telegram, so basically everything. So you can just search our name, which is again, Big Apple School. So that was Katya, and my guests for today were
Ken
and
Alana.
Stay tuned, and I'll see you around.